with my dear friend, Jerry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're heading to Norwalk, Ohio to hang out with my buddy Jerry from Faith Family Cars podcast. If you guys watched the Power Tour 10-Day Adventure Series, you met Jerry. And I'm sure some of you guys have tuned into his podcast. If you haven't, you really need to check it out. Look, Faith Family Cars podcast represented with their hat here. Jerry is one of my good friends, and we've known each other for about a year. And at the end of Power Tour, I'm like, Jerry, I've got to do an episode of Parking Lot Finds on your F100 because this truck is amazing and it's got some pretty cool stuff. So let's head to Norwalk and take a look at Jerry's F100. That's a good cup of coffee. Let's hit the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We've got a very special episode of Parking Lot Finds. It's at the end of Power Tour. We're here with my good friend Jerry from Faith Family Cars podcast. If you don't know him, then you're not following me on the socials because Jerry and I do a lot together.
Do a whole lot.
Jerry lets me be a guest on Bible Talk 6 times a year.
Actually, we're honored to have you as a guest.
You can ask my wife. I love being on it. It's a huge honor. But we're here to talk about your truck.
Yep.
So, Jerry, you just completed Power Tour in what?
A 1982 Ford F100, 306, 3 on the tree.
So you did this whole 1,000-mile trip with 3 on the tree.
Yes, I did.
That is talent, and it hauls.
It gets moving pretty good.
We're not going to say what happened this week, but we will just say this truck impressed me.
Yeah, it'll get moving pretty quick, and I don't know. I have fun with it. The 3 on the tree is starting to wear out, so it's on its last legs, I think. It's starting to bind up on me from time to time, but it made it through Power Tour with no problem, so I'm happy. I wanted to do Power Tour with the 3 on the tree.
Yeah.
And I figured that once that's over, maybe over the winter, it's going to get a 5-speed.
And doing a 5-speed all week, that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
I barely use 5th gear, but we were on the highway. That highway gear was real nice.
Now, I'm going to throw something in here. Nobody is going to believe this. And I hadn't said anything to anybody yet, none of you guys at all.
Uh-oh.
But I was averaging 16.8 miles a gallon.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was shocked myself.
And ready here. So I got an update on that. Jerry and his son Zach released an episode of Faith Family Cars podcast, and these are the actual numbers, which are still super impressive. He wanted me to make sure I put an edit in there. The overall average was 15 miles per gallon for the week. But get this. Now this is a long bed F100 with a straight 6 and a 3 on the tree. He got 16.8 on 2 Phillips, and on one of our slower days, he averaged 18 miles per gallon. That's pretty impressive. Now, back to the video.
You might have gotten better than me.
I was shocked.
I wasn't being very nice to my car this week, though, either.
I wasn't easy on mine.
You weren't, but that's impressive.
Yeah.
So what drew you to an F100? Because a bullnose F100 is not, out of all the F100s, it's not the ones that everybody's like, I got to have it.
Yeah. No, and a lot of Ford guys, F100 guys, just don't look at these as F100s at all.
Yeah.
But whenever I was about 15 years old, my uncle had a bullnose that he was selling. He had it at our house, then left it there for like a week. And I loved that truck. You know, as a 15-year-old kid, I wanted a truck.
And it's sitting right there in front of you, teasing you every day. It's like, I could have it, but I can't have it. But I want it, but I can't have it.
It was a 302. It sounded good, and I wanted that truck. And I was like, man, Dad, you know, I'll get a job as soon as I turn 16. Yeah. And Dad's response was, you don't need a truck. Which, honestly, Dad was really trying to tell me, you need to work for what you're getting.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. That was a nice way of saying that.
Yes. So, but whenever I got ready to buy my first real project, I knew that I wanted a truck. And I started looking at Marketplace, and I realized bullnoses were very reasonably priced, and I love bullnoses. I'm like, okay, it's perfect.
Compared to any of the trucks in the 80s, you could get one for a really good deal even today.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I because of you, I started looking at bullnoses. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting 85 bullnose to go with the rest of the collection. My wife doesn't know I'm looking at those yet. I'm going to be a dead man. She's rolling her eyes. Says something about I have a C10 I need to fix. I don't know what that's about. But anyways, we're talking about your truck.
Well, you know, the long beds are even cheaper. You know, I like a long bed truck because you can haul 4x8 sheet of plywood in it. But the short beds do look really good.
They do.
But they are a little more pricey. And in a Ford, they're really hard to find.
Yeah, they are, because people swoop them up really fast. So this is your second power tour in this truck, right? Or third?
Well, I started Power Tour last year.
That's right, you did. You started in this.
Day 2, we broke an axle. I'm not going to go into why.
He's got it on his. He's got it on.
Yeah. But
yeah, on his podcast, he goes into what happened. It's mistakes were made. You guys know I admit my mistakes all the time. Jerry owned up to his, but we're not here to talk about that. That's.
Yeah, so we had to swap to the Mustang on day 2 morning.
He was suffering in his Cobra.
Yeah, with air conditioning.
Yeah.
So I finally got to put the truck all the way through, get all the way through the long haul. And I feel, honestly, this might be weird, but I feel really accomplished, because
you should.
I built the motor myself.
Yeah.
I've done everything to the truck myself, and it made this 1,000-mile journey. And so I'm feeling pretty accomplished. I just thank God for helping me get through it this time.
And you camped out of it twice.
Yes, which was a blast. Last night especially.
Yeah, so. You guys had a much better view than the night we had when we were camping next year.
Yeah, we were right on the beach, which was really cool.
So. That would have been awesome. Your pictures look good. Why don't you show people what's going on with the whole truck here? So, what are these wheels? Because I love Steely's. Steely's just make anything look better.
So these are 17-inch Boyd Connington smoothies.
These are Boyd Connington wheels.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
So you may see the hose in them because I do run a Ford dog dish cap on them.
Yeah.
I decided for Power Tour I was going to run these smoothies because I put the camper top on, and these look more like a grandpa truck. So
yeah.
I decided to go with them to match the whole theme of the grandpa truck. But so we've got a 4-inch in the front, 5-inch in the rear drop.
And it's got a good stance. That's the one thing, like long beds, when you slam them down or just that right altitude adjustment on them, they look so good. And I know the camper top's in the debate. I love your truck with the camper top on there. I think it just looks good.
Well, I've had several positive comments, so I think it's going to stay on for a while.
See, I regret it. My C10 had a camper top, and I was young and dumb, like 14, 15. My dad had it, the camper top in the woods, and we smashed it, the windows in it.
Oh,
and like I'm crying on the inside. Like I keep looking at the pictures of it, and I'm like, why did you do that? But you live and you learn.
I actually got that one. It was really out of a cow pasture.
Yeah.
And I got it on the Wednesday before Power Tour.
Yeah.
So brought it home, cleaned it up. I pulled the windows out of another camper top and put them in that one.
Yeah, because if you're going to do a camper top, you've got to have the slide out windows. Because if you're going to do it like you're using it actually as it should as a camper, it's got to have those pop out windows like that. Because
I need to replace these. This one's a little warped, but I'll do that later on.
Yeah.
I like it though. It was really cool to camp in it.
Yeah.
And the camp on 2 nights of Power Tour got me thinking next year I might just camp the whole thing.
Yeah.
As long as I find good campgrounds.
We were talking about it too. I'm like, we can be a little better prepared. We think we might do a couple of days camping next year because you save so much.
Yes.
And it's so peaceful and so relaxing.
Yeah. And then, if you're with your buddies and they all camp too,
yeah,
you
can hang out, and it's so nice. That was one of my favorite nights, even though Eddie and I were in the back of the van on a slant. Like, that was one of my favorite nights.
Yeah, it was good.
So what we got going on back here now, you know more, obviously, about these Ford trucks, so no bumper, but that was actually an option with the F-100s, right?
So the F-100 and I think the F-150s, the bumper was an option.
Which is crazy nowadays to think about that. Like, bumper.
Yeah, it was a dealer installed option. So this truck right here has 2 hoses, and it also has a license plate light underneath here, and it all still works. And so
it looks so good there. It looks right.
Well, when I pulled the bumper off and I realized that was there, I was like, we're going to run no bumper.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw the license plate back on and run no bumper.
I love it.
Yeah, I get asked all the time, are you going to put a bumper on that thing? And I'm like, no, because honestly, from the factory, it didn't come with it.
So why ruin it?
Yeah. This was a stripped down truck. It had a radio delete. It had an AC delete.
Yeah.
The only actual option that I can find this truck has a gauge cluster. And instead of dummy lights.
which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's one option. If you're going to click, I'd like to know where I'm at on stuff.
Yes, and that's the only option I can find on it. It had a 9-inch rear end with a 247 gear in it, a 300 straight six with 3 on a tree, and that was a bare bones truck. Rubber floor mat, vinyl seat.
I love the rubber mat. If you're gonna have a truck, we've lost something in trucks, and now everything is padded and carpeted. It's like trucks should have the rubber mats so that when you're doing truck stuff, spray it out. Yep.
Makes it easy.
All right, let's take a look at the interior because I like your interior. I like your seat in this truck a lot.
It's a little dirty right now.
It's a little dirty.
We've had a week's worth of driving.
So, did you do the seat yourself?
I did the seat. I pulled it out. It's not very good, to be honest, but I just bought the Mexican blanket on Amazon, set it on my kitchen table, and put it together and scratched the table, and my wife got mad.
My wife knows nothing about that, of me destroying the house with car stuff.
Yeah,
especially the month
she
before
wasn't very happy about that.
But so you put the cup holders in there too.
Yeah, I did cut the cup holders. The seat was starting to tear.
Yeah.
That's not the original seat. That actually came out of an 83 F100 that my son had. So I swapped that seat in and it started to tear, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to cut some cup holders in there. And
people don't understand like how nice it is, like modern cars having cup holders. We don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're driving yours, you're like, where do I put my coffee?
Yeah. And those are big enough to fit a 32-ounce foam cup in.
You got your priority. You got your priorities
right.
I got my $12 one from Walmart that now just behind me because there's no room in my car. But I saw that and I'm like, I love that.
So besides that, I've kept the interior stock. I put a dash cap on it. The dash was in bad shape, and that steering wheel has got an interesting story. That actually came off of a 1980 Fox Body Mustang.
I was about to say that looks very Mustang-y.
Yes. So they did put those on the 78, 79 Broncos and some of the F-150 packages. But that actually came off of a Mustang, and it had one of those vinyl laced on so the steering wheel actually had a vinyl laced on cover on it. And I cut that cover off when I got the steering wheel home. Yeah. And that's what was underneath it.
That was underneath it?
That was underneath it. All original still. And I'm like, no way. I just got lucky. I paid $20 for that steering wheel.
That looks brand new.
And I did. It was silver. Yeah. I did paint it black, but because it was starting to rust a little bit. So yeah, that came out of a Fox Body. I was pretty happy about that. And then I put the gauges in the center. I took the block off plate out. Yeah. And I got another plate that was for a factory radio, and I put that in with the gauges in. So
that looks good though.
I've still got the block off plate that goes in it.
In case you want to switch back. Yeah. So let's show people under the hood, because underneath the hood's pretty awesome. Yes, straight six. So I love your truck. Like you're turning me into an F100 guy, bullnose. There's actually an extended cab F100 near my house. So, all right, close your eyes, folks. Up. This is what 5 days on the road looks like.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, when you go down gravel roads.
Power Tour kind of messed up this year. Yeah. They did not pay attention to certain things like road closures, and we had to find our own way. And I can attest, last Saturday, this thing looked beautiful. It was nice.
If you look at our cruise in footage, you'll see that.
It was really nice.
And it's a little dusty. So what we've got is a 306 with a comp cam in it. I can't tell you the numbers on it. It's their biggest cam they offer for a 306. We replaced all the internals in it. It's got an icy speed 4-barrel intake.
And that's from Australia.
From Australia,
which is people don't understand that Australians make some killer car parts. And they, especially in the mid-90s and early 2000s, they had better cars than us.
Well, over there, they are big into straight sixes and slant sixes in the Mopars. And this company, that's basically what they do, is build heads and intakes for inline six motors.
Really?
Yeah. And so here in the States, we have Offenhauser and Clifford. But I started building this engine during COVID, and you couldn't get those because everybody had bought them up. Yeah. So I reached out to Aussie Speed. I called them. And they said, yeah, we just sent a new shipment to California, and we will send you one out. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, so I placed an order and got it. And So we're running a Holley 4-barrel 600 CFM carburetor.
Now, you did something very controversial with your truck that
I did.
most people don't do. You had something else. You just switched it to this.
Yeah, I've been asked a couple of times why, but I had a Sniper EFI on it, and I had a lot of trouble. So I had that on here for about a year and a half. I had a lot of issues with idling, a lot of issues with mainly the idling, but it would just fall on its face. I mean, it just did not like getting into the throttle at all. We had some ECU issues at the very beginning. Holly said it wasn't an ECU issue, but after talking to some people, I found out that it was. So I just decided, man, I'm going on power tour, and I know I broke the motor in with a carburetor, and it ran great. So I'm going by carb, and that's what I did, and I've had zero issues.
From what everybody, I've done the research too. From what everybody says, Holley with their Sniper, with the ECU being in there, gets too hot.
Yes, that's what I've been told. That was my problem. So. You know, it had multiple issues. I mean, I'm not going to get into all of them.
But
Holley, you know, their Sniper I'm not happy with, but all the other products I've bought from Holley, I've been happy
I mean,
with.
you're running. You switched it from a Holley EFI back to a Holley carburetor, so it says you're not mad at the company. It just it didn't work.
I've ran Holley carburetors on everything I've built, and so that's what I like. That's what I know how to work on. So
I get it.
But, you know, we are running, you know, a lot of the Chevy guys have pointed out to me, I got an ATI distributor.
Come over here. Now, my car had that on it, and I ripped it out. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Well, for me,
but for your application, it makes sense.
It was a great setup with the Holley EFI because I didn't have to have any type of ignition box.
Yeah.
So I just ran that alone. But it's a good running little motor. I mean, it's got the Ford EFI headers on it, and so I've got straight duals on it with Flowmaster exhaust.
And this truck sounds good. Like, it sounds good when you get on it and it's going down the highway. It sounds good.
It gets a buzzing. It's a 6-cylinder, so it gets a buzzing.
Yeah.
But I have fun. Electric fans, electric fuel pump, and it runs out good. I have a good time with it. So, you know, I asked the kids early on. I put a 302 in it. I pulled it back out. I asked them, should we keep the truck all original? And that's what they wanted to do with it, so that's what we did.
So you're like me, though. You get your whole family involved with the project.
We kind of took a vote at dinner one night and said, should I put the 306 back in it? And they're like, yeah, let's go back to original. So that's what we did. So original motor. Just it's been rebuilt and hopped up a little.
These 306s are great motors, though.
You can't kill it. It was running with zero oil pressure when I pulled it out, and I've been driving it for months like that. So
that's amazing. Well, Jerry, thank you for taking the time. I know you're tired. You want to get home to your wife and family. Thank you for taking the time to talk about your F100. Everybody should know where to find you, but how do they find you?
Well, it's pretty easy. Faith Family Cars on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Anywhere that you find your podcast, you'll find Faith Family Cars podcast, and it comes out on every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, and guys, the guest he has had on, pretty epic, and he's got some pretty cool stuff lined up.
Yes, we do.
So if you've not started, now's a great time to get caught up. I enjoy it. I'm not just saying that because I'm his friend and I'm on it. As soon as we met, I started listening to it, and it's something every Tuesday on my way to work. That's what I listen to. You guys got to follow Jerry. Follow the podcast because he's got some really cool stuff. And it's not just a podcast that talks about people's faith in cars. You actually do a segment with Matt to help people learn to work on their cars better.
Yeah, and we've struggled to do that recently. We're going to try to get back to that, but scheduling has been a bit of an issue for him and me, and so we've got to get back to that. But Matt has been really good to us, and he's got a lot of knowledge. So
you guys are doing some awesome stuff on your channel. That's why I love supporting you guys, love following you, love to be able to call you my friend. Said Faith Family Cars Podcast. You guys need to find him on all the socials.
And we've got some new stuff coming. I'll just throw that out there that nobody knows about for, if we're going to, I guess, call it season 2.
Season 2. That's right.
You got our anniversary coming up. So
that is so awesome. You guys are coming up on a year anniversary.
And so we got some really good stuff coming that I think a lot of people are going to like. So
well, Jerry,
just thought I'd throw that out there.
I said, you guys are not following, but you got to follow. Look, we're driving. Don't listen to whatever. Listen to something that's going to encourage you because the stories that people are telling,
very encouraging.
They're amazing. Like, and the cool thing is, Jerry, you find people that people might know from social media you're going into a deeper side that you didn't even know about them.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. Like,
So if you hear them on another podcast,
yeah,
when you come to our podcast, you're going to get probably more in depth into their story. You're
Yeah.
going to find out more things about them than they've told on other podcasts.
and it's been amazing. Like, I've known Mark for a couple years now. I'd never heard his testimony. And you hear that, I'm like, my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's been really good. And we've had several guests tell us at the end of the podcast, I've never told anybody that before.
Yeah,
besides my family. And it's like,
it was the same with me. The part that I shared about my story, you guys are the first ones I ever shared that part. So you guys should go back and look at that. I'll put a link to that in there, because the podcast is amazing. What you're pulling out of people and just them getting a chance to share and just showing how awesome the car community really is.
It is. I don't think that even I didn't realize how many good folks are in the car community.
There are.
You get it. I always got a negative vibe from people. It seemed like at car shows, they didn't really want to help you or talk to you. And now that I've gotten more involved in this community, I've realized that there's a real big group of people, especially, and I hate to say it this way, but especially guys under 50 years old who really just want to help each other. They want to help each other learn. And it's kind of bad, but some of the older guys, man, they just, for some reason, they don't want to help out. I think it's changing. I really do.
Yeah, there are some guys that want to help, but there's a lot of guys, for whatever reason, they want to gatekeep that information.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't you want to pass this information on so more people can learn? And that's why you do the same thing I do. Like, get your kids involved. We're trying to keep this car. We all want to keep car culture alive. And we're like, how do you do it? Get your kids involved.
Yeah. And I really do think it's changing a whole lot. I think some of the older guys are starting to realize they need to open up a little more, and it's been really good. I just can't believe the support that we've gotten thus far, especially from you, Eddie. You've been a huge support.
Hey, just meeting you that one time in March, I'm like, I'm in. Whatever you guys need, I'm there for you.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Well, Jerry, I won't take up too much of your time, and see you next time.
All right. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry is one of my great friends.
With my dear friend, Jerry. Looks like Matt's dad's Tim's car. That one. That's like,
it does, don't it?
This is nicer. It's like, that's nice. It's even nicer. Which you got to come down and see it. You got to. You have to. You got to come see the cars.